Well, welcome to this month's Art Club Safety Training Series. This month we're going to cover heat exhaustion. Again, I'm John Kenny, Cotney Consulting Group, and I'm happy to be here with you once again. What is heat exhaustion? The body cools itself off most effectively by sweating and having that sweat evaporate. Should sweating be unable to meet the cooling demands of a body, heat-related illnesses can occur. This is a spectrum of conditions with minor symptoms such as prickly heat or heat rash, progressing then to heat cramps, then to heat exhaustion, and finally to heat stroke, which is a life-threatening medical condition. Heat exhaustion is a condition whose symptoms may include heavy sweating and a rapid pulse, a result in your body overheating. It is one of the three heat-related syndromes, and heat cramps being mildest to heat stroke being the most severe. Heat exhaustion versus heat stroke. There's no set line that distinguishes heat exhaustion from heat stroke. If a person is suffering from heat-related illnesses such as heat exhaustion and changes in mental status occur, he or she could be suffering from a heat stroke. This condition, confusion, lethargy, seizure, and coma. This is a medical emergency, and if the treatment is delayed, mortality can be greater than 50%. While victims of heat exhaustion sweat profusely, people suffering from heat stroke actually stop sweating and have very dry skin. This is a warning sign of impending heat stroke. Two types of heat exhaustion. Water depletion. Signs include excessive thirst, weakness, headache, and loss of consciousness. Salt depletion. Signs include nausea and vomiting, muscle cramps, and dizziness. Although heat exhaustion isn't as serious as heat stroke, it isn't something to be taken lightly. Without proper intervention, heat exhaustion can progress very quickly to heat stroke, which can damage the brain and other vital organs and even cause death. Causes of heat exhaustion. Heat exhaustion can include exposure to high temperatures, particularly when combined with high humidity and strenuous physical activity. Sounds like roofing contractors all day long to me, and I know from my experience that's where we're at in the summer. Without proper treatment, heat exhaustion can lead to heat stroke and life-threatening condition. Fortunately, heat exhaustion is preventable, and as roofing contractors, we need to prevent this for our team. Risk factors and heat exhaustion. Heat exhaustion is strongly related to the heat index, which is the measurement of how hot you feel when the effects of relative humidity and air temperature are combined. So watch our weather, we get the actual mean temperature outside, which say could be 92, 95, and we look at the heat index, could be 105, 110, or 115 and higher, which is extreme danger zone. It is the heat index that the human body has effects on. Relative humidity of 60% or more hampers sweat evaporation, which hinders your body's ability to cool itself. There's very few places in the United States in the summer that have less than 60% humidity, except for the drier arid areas, which we know are usually in the southwest areas. The risk of heat-related illnesses dramatically increase when the heat index climbs to 90 degrees or more, which is most of our summer temperatures. It is important, especially during heat waves, to pay attention to the reported heat index and also to remember that the heat index is even higher when you are standing in full sunshine. What are some of the symptoms? Signs and symptoms of heat exhaustion may develop suddenly and or over time, especially with prolonged periods of exercise. Remember, when you're out there working all day long, that is a prolonged period of exercise. You're moving your body. Possible heat exhaustion signs and symptoms can include cool, moist skin with goosebumps when in the heat. You feel like you're chilly, heavy sweating, faintness, dizziness, fatigue, weak or rapid pulse, low blood pressure upon standing, that feeling you might pass out, muscle cramps, nausea, and headache. Heat illness versus COVID symptoms. So COVID's still there. It's out there. It's like the flu. It's going to be around. It's not going anywhere. So, what are some of the symptoms of the coronavirus that are like heat illnesses? Similar Similar symptoms include fatigue, dizziness, fever, rashes, nausea, vomiting, and confusion. Heat-related injuries may also have respiratory symptoms like COVID, such as shortness of breath. Heat-related injuries are most often related to working, exercising, or playing in a hot environment. If you don't have a specific history of being exposed to hot temperatures outdoors, a heat-related injury is unlikely. So again, if the easy way to tell is if you're outside and it's hot, you may very well have heat illness rather than having COVID or flu or other summer colds that go around. So you have to be aware of what's happening around you. Maintaining a healthy work site. There are several strategies you can incorporate to help protect your workers from heat exhaustion. Wet bulb global temperature monitoring, which is the heat index. That's what we were talking about. Having breaks, schedulings, hydration, body temperatures, water source, and clothing. You should be aware of the wet bulb global temperature at your site. Unlike the heat index, which considers temperature and humidity in shady areas, the WGBT measures heat stress in direct sunlight, counting for temperature, wind speed, humidity, cloud cover, and sun angle. A lot of our apps will give you this in the weather apps you get. But as we talked about earlier, when you look at your heat index, say it's 105. If you're out in the hot sun, direct sunlight, like we're talking about, it could be 110 to 115 and higher. So again, you need to be aware of your surroundings. Break time. Based on how high heat is, your workers should be given regular breaks throughout the workday to ensure they do not get too hot. It may feel like such a schedule will inhibit productivity, but your workers will be more efficient if they can rest and cool off periodically. Water, it could be stopping for water and having small sips every 15, 30 minutes or 3 times an hour. You got to stay hydrated. It's important. Production is going to go down. What do we always talk about? There's 3 things that matter in our industry. You lead with safety first, quality comes next, and production will take care of itself. So this is another great example of taking care of safety. Production will follow. Scheduling. When possible, schedule the hottest tasks for the cooler part of the day. So example, we're doing a tear off. We want to start early and get that done and cover our roof in and be pulling off before the hottest part of the day whenever possible. You may have to work at night. You may set lights up for an early start. Whatever works best to keep the crew safe, you'll need to take that in consideration. You can also try breaking up these tasks among non-consecutive days. Not so easy in our industry, but you may want to look for when it's an extremely hot stretch of weather coming. Days may be flashing days or job setup days, and so on and so forth. Hydration. Be sure workers have access to water and or sports drinks on the job site. Hydration is vital for preventing heat-related issues, but how much is necessary will vary from person to person. In most cases, plain water should be sufficient. However, in a particularly long hot days, it's best to replace electrolytes through the use of sports drinks. Again, personal preference and how your job sites are operating. Body temperature. If possible, you should monitor your workers' core body temperatures while they're on the job. Many smartwatches and vests that are out now have that capability and the other devices on the market that you can purchase for this use. So technology's catching up. Water source. Keep a large container of cool water, such as a tub, child's wading pool, or big bucket so the workers can submerge their arms and hands. We had that a lot. We used to do garden hoses, also work well too. You got to be able to cool down when necessary. This practice will bring down their body temperatures. Clothing. Encourage your workers to wear light, breathable, loose-fitting clothing on the job. You can also suggest they wear specialized heat protective clothing or provide them for them. Polyester, too much polyester on any kind of work clothing is not only dangerous for fire, it also creates an overheating capacity of the body. So again, cotton breathable, there's things out there that are made. We have to take this the same way we would protect ourselves working in cold weather with multiple layers of clothes. We need to make sure we're wearing the right clothes in the heat. Treatment for heat exhaustion. If you or anyone else has symptoms of heat exhaustion, it is essential to immediately get out of the heat and rest, preferably in an air-conditioned room or turn the air on in the truck if possible. If you can't get inside, try to find the nearest cool or shady spot. Other recommended strategies can include drink plenty of fluids, especially sports drinks to replace that lost salt at this time, and avoid caffeine and alcohol. They will only make it worse. Remove any tight or unnecessary clothing. Take a cool shower, bath, or sponge bath. Apply other cooling measures such as fan or ice towels. If such measures fail to provide relief within 15 minutes, you must seek emergency medical help because untreated heat exhaustion can progress quickly to heat stroke. When to see a doctor. If you think you're experiencing heat exhaustion, stop all activity and rest. Move to a cooler place, drink the cool water or sports drink. Contact your doctor if your signs or symptoms worsen or if they don't improve within an hour. If you are with someone showing signs of heat exhaustion, seek immediate medical attention if he or she becomes confused or agitated, loses consciousness, or is unable to drink. You will need immediate cooling and urgent medical attention if the core body temperature measured by a thermometer reaches 104 degrees. That's the first thing they're going to check when you take them to the emergency room. In case of an emergency, if you realize that a worker is in distress, you must act quickly. In the event of heat cramps, advise the affected worker to stop working, sit in a cool place, and not resume activity until a few hours after the cramps have subsided. Encourage the worker to drink clear juice, water, or sports beverage. Seek immediate medical attention if that worker has a heart condition, follows a low sodium diet, or experiences cramps for more than 1 hour. For heat exhaustion, advise the worker to stop all activity, loosen the clothing, and rest in a cool area. Encourage the worker to drink water or sports beverage. If you have facilities on site, have the worker take a cool bath or shower. If the condition continues for more than 15 minutes, again, call 911. Heat stroke, call 911 immediately. As you wait for emergency medical help to arrive, move the worker to a cool area. If you have the supplies, quickly give the worker cold water or ice water bath. If that is not possible, apply cooling packs to the worker's armpits, groin, and chest. If you must provide transportation to a medical facility, cool down the worker before trying to transport. So what are some key takeaways? First, you must understand heat exhaustion. Heat exhaustion occurs when the body overheats, leading to symptoms like heavy sweating, rapid pulse, and dizziness. They can progress quickly to heat stroke, so you must know the differences. Water depletion is a character of heat exhaustion with excessive thirst, weakness, headache, and potential loss of consciousness. Salt depletion. Again, signs of that include nausea, vomiting, muscle cramps, and dizziness. Cause and risk factors. Caused by exposure to high temperatures, especially when combined with high humidity and physical exertion. Risk increases with heat indexes above 90 and relative humidity above 60 hamper sweat evaporation, making it harder for the body to cool down. Symptoms to watch for. You must look for the symptoms that develop suddenly or over time, including cool, moist skin, faintness, rapid pulse, low blood pressure, muscle cramps, and headaches. It's crucial to differentiate them between the heat exhaustion and other COVID symptoms and flu that can overlap. Prevention strategy. Breaks and hydration. You have to have regular breaks. Scheduling. Schedule those heavy tasks during cooler parts of the day. Clothing. Encourage that light, breathable clothing and consider heat protective gear. Immediate treatment. Move to that cooler place. Get off the sun. Get off the roof. Rest, hydrate using cooling methods and fans and cool showers if possible. Seek emergency medical attention if the symptoms do not improve within 15 minutes. Emergency response. For heat cramps, rest in a cool place and hydrate. Heat exhaustion, stop the activity, rest and cool down. In case of heat stroke, call 911 immediately and move the person to a cool area. Apply ice packs and cold water bath. So again, you follow these. We cannot protect our workers or ourselves enough in the heat. It's been a pleasure to do this one with you. If you have any questions, call our club. Get a hold of me at Cotney Consulting Group. Always happy to help.